Today on our 2003 Ford Explorer Sport Trac, we're going to take a look at and also show you how to install the Westin Sportsman Grille Guard. This one-piece grille guard offers a black powder coating on a steel frame. Part number is 40-0805. Now this is a very rugged brush guard. It gives us superior protection. It's going to protect from dents on maybe our bumper, our hood, our grille, our headlight areas, just to give us superior protection, whether it's from brush that may come up and rub our vehicle while we're off-road, or other hazards that we can sometimes find running across the road. You see the smaller bars here? These are going to give us full headlight protection without hampering our headlight's performance, and they're very easily removable. On each side here we've got two bolts that are holding this cover in place, so if we need to access our headlight, we don't have to worry about pulling the whole brush guard off the front of the vehicle. You'll see here we've got rubber pads that go around the actual push portion of the bumper. So if we need to push equipment around with our vehicle, we will be able to do that. Of course, we need to do it at very low speeds. You don't want to, ramming force anything, but if you just easily ease up to something, you are able to use this to push items around. We've got a double bar design that's going to be here on the top, gives it a really nice look. The main brace across the middle here is going to provide two areas for us to connect the lights. They're going to stay inset just slightly, so they're going to be protected as well. And then another nice cross tube down here on the bottom to give us excellent strength and durability. Now this is a really easy bolt-on installation. It's going to come with custom brackets. Those are going to mount to already existing attachment points on our vehicle. We're not going to have to worry about doing any drilling or any modifications to the vehicle whatsoever. Now another feature that's very nice, we're still going to have full access into our underhood area. Our latch is right here, so it'll be easy to get to. Our hood's going to go up, stay up without any kind of issues or any kind of problem. Closes just the same with no interference, but it does stay nice and close to the vehicle, so we're not adding a big 3-foot attachment to the front of the vehicle or anything. You see nice close clearances here, so we only add to the front of the vehicle what we need. Now to begin our installation for our grille guard, we're going to be taking this panel down here just so we can access our bolt hole locations. We've got 3 bolts to remove, or the kind of screws here on the front. We've got 1, 2, and 3. For that I'm going to use a 5/16. Now we'll want to come to our frame rail here. You can just kind of follow that cover up and over. We've got a couple of bolts here that we need to take out. These have a 10mm head on them. There's one here and there should be one up here a little bit further, but as you can see, this one is missing. So we'll take out the one on this side, and then we'll get the 2 on this side. Now with those out, we've got a small Christmas tree fastener on each side. You can see we'll get that pulled down. And that should allow us to bring our cover down and set it aside. Now we need to get into the 2 bolts that are holding our tow hooks in place. You see we've got one right here and then one right behind it. Now we'll need a 15mm here. And it's kind of tight, but you'll be able to get in there and get to them. Now these in the back are a little easier to get to from underneath. Now once we have both bolts out, we should be able to just slide our tow hook right out of the front there. And then just so you know, both of our bolts for our tow hook thread into this nut plate. So when we start putting stuff back together, we got to be sure our bolts thread in there, okay? Now our brackets, these are going to go right above our tow hooks, and they're going to be sandwiched in there using our original hardware. One thing I want you to keep in mind is that in the set of instructions that we have, they've mislabeled our brackets. They've got the driver, they're calling it the passenger, they're calling the driver. But what we're looking for specifically is for the side with the 2 holes to go on top of the tow hook. And then we want the side with the 3 holes to be facing towards the outside of the vehicle. This is the one we're going to use for the driver's side. And our single hole, that needs to be forward. So as long as you're doing that, you're doing it the right way. Now we're just going to bring our bolt up and through there. Get it put up in position, and remember the nut plate I showed you, we just want to get it threaded into that. Now we'll want to be sure our nut plate's in position there. Slide our tow hook in with our bracket. Now we want to thread that up into our nut plate. Let's align the one here in the front and get it started as well. All right, and we'll do the same thing for our passenger side, keeping in mind that we want the holes on the bracket towards the outside of the vehicle and the single hole forward. Now I'm just going to run my bolts in a little bit just to take out some of the slack. We want it to be flexible though, because that's going to allow us to get our brush guard nice and level. And now with the help of a couple extra set of hands, we're ready to get our grille guard put up into position. The flanges that stick out on each side that we're going to use to bolt it in place, those should slide on the outside of the brackets we just installed. Now to secure it, we're going to be using the black stainless steel hardware, and it's a good idea to use some anti-seize on it. That's going to prevent them from getting in there and locking up to where we won't be able to remove it if we ever need to. This is part number LT37616. All right guys, it looks good, and a little bit more right there. Now we're going to slide our bolts in from the outside. You'll see we've got a flat washer that we've already put on there. And then inside, we're going to put on another flat washer. Then we've got a lock washer. And then we're going to thread on the hex nut. Now we'll want to get a couple of these started on each side while we've got our partners here helping us. Now we've got 3 attachment points on each, and each attachment point will get the same hardware. We're going to leave this just loosely installed for now. All right, now with 2 started on each side, that should hold it in position. Now let's go underneath and we'll get our last set of hardware installed. Now what I'm going to do is push all the way back on my tow hook on each side here, and then I want to snug those down so they don't move. I'm not going to do final torque or anything in case we need to adjust it slightly, but I do want to get those in a position where they won't move around. All right, now what we want to do is just get everything leveled out. That way we can ensure that it's going to look appropriate on the vehicle. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is check the vehicle for level. Once we've got that leveled out, we want to ensure that our push bar is going to match that. And then we also want to level front to back so it's not tilted down. Once we've found that position, we'll want somebody to hold it in place for us while we get our hardware snugged down. Good? Get as many checks on it as we can. That way we can ensure we get it right where we want it. And let's get at least 2 of our bolts tightened down while we're holding that position. Once we have those snug, recheck everything, make sure we've got it where we want it. All right, now we're ready to start torquing them down to the specifications that are listed in our instructions. All right, now we'll start by torquing down the bolts on our tow hooks here. With those torqued down, we'll move on to the bolts securing our brush guard to our bracket. All right, now we can get our panel down here reinstalled. It's easiest just to use those push fasteners to hold it in place. and then we'll get our hardware started. All right, that's all there is to it. Now with our appearance panel back in place, that's going to complete the installation of the Westin Sportsman Grille Guard, part number 40-0805 on our 2003 Ford Explorer Sport.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.